Who killed Michael Jordan's father? The complicated facts you never knew. PulseLine Media, a deep dive into the unsolved and the shocking. In 1993, James Jordan was shot and killed while sleeping in his son's red Lexus at a highway stop in Robeson County, North Carolina. His body was found days later, dumped off a bridge. The scene was shocking and full of unanswered questions. A fisherman found the body in a South Carolina swamp, draped over a tree and badly decomposed. So decomposed, authorities initially labeled him an unidentified John Doe. 2 days later, a stripped-down Lexus was found in woods 60 miles from the body, later identified as Michael Jordan's. That car is what linked the body to the Jordan family. Few remember. James Jordan was not immediately identified. He was cremated before a positive ID. The coroner kept the jaw and hands to verify identity through dental records. Strangest of all, James Jordan wasn't reported missing for 3 weeks. Family said Michael's security team began its own search, and they didn't call police until the car was found vandalized. Some theorists point to organized crime and gambling debts as a possible motive. Circumstantial, but persistent. Reports mentioned Michael Jordan's gambling losses, a detail that fed speculation. After the trial, 22 officers from the Robeson County Sheriff's Office were charged with corruption. Did corruption affect the investigation? Many asked the same question. In a bizarre twist, suspect Daniel Green led police to his great-grandmother's yard, where Michael Jordan's NBA ring was dug up. That discovery became a major piece of evidence presented by prosecutors. A rap music video showed a man wearing the watch and ring. Footage prosecutors highlighted. Michael's brother Larry identified the jewelry in court, but the judge prevented the jury from seeing the video. Larry Demery and Daniel Green grew up together in Robeson County, friends before they became co-defendants. The pair's history added more layers to the prosecution's narrative. A .38 snub-nose revolver was found in a shop vac at Green's home, presented as the murder weapon. Larry Demery testified that he and Green planned a robbery, and that Green shot James Jordan. But ballistics were inconclusive. The bullets couldn't be definitively matched to that revolver. Blood analysis from the car was also inconclusive, and no confirmed blood was found in the vehicle. A blood analyst testified she believed there was blood despite a lack of confirmed evidence, a statement that raised doubts. Much of the prosecution's case rested on Demery's eyewitness testimony. One early call from James Jordan's phone that day went to Hubert Larry Deese, a convicted dealer and son of a sheriff later charged with corruption. Deese also worked with Larry Demery at Crestline Mobile Homes, less than a mile from where the body was dumped. Crestline Mobile Home Park was allegedly known as Cocaine Alley, a hub for drug trafficking on the East Coast. But a judge barred the jury from hearing connections between Deese, Sheriff Stone, and Demery. Years later, acquaintances and even Demery himself made statements that muddied the record, including claims he had lied at trial. Green's lawyer later reported Demery confessed to lying, a post-trial twist that renewed calls for review. Daniel Green has always maintained his innocence and filed multiple appeals claiming he wasn't at the scene. Co-defendant Larry Demery was granted parole, then had it dramatically canceled in 2023, with no public reason given. Some suspect James Slim Buller, a reputed trafficker who endorsed a $57,000 check linked to Michael Jordan's gambling losses. Writer Mark Wicker suggested a link between Jordan's losses and his father's murder, a provocative allegation at the time. So what do we actually know? The evidence is messy, conflicting testimony, inconclusive forensics, and possible suppressed leads. In the next section, we walk through the trial, the convictions, and the questions that still remain. Larry Demery and Daniel Green were arrested, tried, and convicted, but many say the case never fully added up. Prosecutors leaned on Demery's eyewitness testimony, the recovered jewelry, and circumstantial links. Michael's ring and his father's watch were presented, and Michael's brother identified them in court. Yet the jury never saw the music video that showed the jewelry. The judge feared prejudice. Green claimed he was at a cookout that night with a girlfriend, Bobby Jo Murillo. Witnesses reportedly corroborated it, but none testified. Why were these witnesses never called by the defense? That question drove conspiracy theories. Ballistics tests on the bullets were inconclusive. Prosecutors could not definitively tie the shop vac gun to the fatal shot. Without that link, Many experts say the case relied heavily on witness credibility, a weak foundation to some. Tests in the car were ambiguous. A blood analyst testified she believed there was blood despite there being no confirmed evidence. Jurors had to weigh conflicting scientific testimony against witness accounts. Demery testified he and Green planned to rob a sleeping Jordan and that Green shot him in the chest. But later statements, and even a confession to an acquaintance, raised doubts about the consistency of Demery's accounts. Green has consistently maintained his innocence and pursued appeals, citing alibi witnesses and flaws in the case. He remains incarcerated fighting to clear his name. Demery was granted parole only to have it canceled later, a bureaucratic twist that left many unsatisfied. For the Jordan family and the public, the roller coaster of rulings intensified the mystery. Some point to James "Slim" Buller, a trafficker who endorsed a $57,000 check tied to Jordan's gambling losses. Writers at the time alleged that Buller's connections could place him in the circle of suspects. Mark Wicker's 1993 column suggested a link between gambling losses and the murder, a line that provoked controversy. "Coincidence, anyone?" Wicker wrote, a question that echoed through the media. The jury never heard about the phone call links, the sheriff's family connections, or some local drug ties, all excluded by rulings. Judicial decisions on admissibility shaped what the jury could consider. An acquaintance later told a reporter Demery admitted he was the shooter, a claim that added new confusion. Years later, Green's lawyer reported Demery confessed to lying, a development that complicated appeals. In short, ballistics inconclusive, no confirmed blood in the car, missing defense witnesses. These gaps left room for doubt and alternative theories. One early phone call went to Hubert Larry Deese, the biological son of Sheriff Hubert Stone, later convicted of corruption. Deese worked at Crestline Mobile Homes, less than a mile from where the body was dumped. Crestline was nicknamed Cocaine Alley, allegedly part of a drug trafficking corridor. Connections the jury never heard. Judicial rulings excluded phone and association evidence that might have painted a different picture. Confessions, recantations, excluded ties, an unproven gun and missing witnesses. Contradictions stack up. For true crime fans, the question remains, did justice find the real killer, or did someone slip away? We've laid out the major facts. Now decide for yourself, were the wrong men convicted? If you found this investigation revealing, subscribe and ring the bell for more deep dives from PulseLine Media. This report referenced archived coverage and reporting. Primary source MSN, Showbizz Daily, PulseLine Media. Digging into the facts behind the headlines. We may never know the whole truth, but the questions remain.